back, guys. Hey guys, Bill here with Catch-22. Today I want to talk to you guys about staying fueled and energized when you're outdoors, making sure that you're hydrated and that you have food and that you're fueling yourself. I hope this doesn't come across as lip service, but I recently had some experiences that made me think twice about what I take out on the water or out on a hike. I wanted to share that with you. I wanted to show you my findings and give you some options that I actually employ when I'm out on the water or outdoors. First, you need water. You need lots of water, actually. A lot of times I'll just pack up the kayak and I'll grab one of these guys and that would be it. It's really not enough. I mean, it depends on how much time you're spending out there and how much energy you're exerting and the temperature and all that stuff, but you need a decent amount of water, and sometimes this isn't enough. You might need to grab 2 or 3 for the day. Again, it's all depending on what you're doing. You definitely need to stay hydrated. This works great. We're a little conscious of the plastic that we're using, so a lot of times I'll fill up a reusable water bottle like this. I'll actually fill it with ice so it's nice and cold out there for me. Water's number 1. Number 2 is food. So early in the spring I participated in a kayak bass fishing tournament. Weather wasn't exactly pristine. We were out on the water and a big thunderstorm came through to the point where just around lunchtime lightning started, and it started coming down fairly close, and it made me uncomfortable. And I said, catching a fish isn't more important in my life, so I'm getting off the water for a little bit. This lake is within a public park, so I paddled over to a building, and it happened to be a restroom facility, and I decided to hunker down in there, wait out the storm, and have my lunch. When I use the word lunch, I may be exaggerating a little bit. I think it was Hormel, makes these little wraps. So it's like a tortilla and maybe some salami and cheese and a bottle of water. And that was it. So I'm in a restroom. I'm wet. My rain gear had failed that day. I'm wet. I'm cold. I'm watching the lightning. And I'm eating my lunch out of this restroom. And this lunch, like I said, is a far stretch for the word. So because of how miserable I was and the conditions the way they were, I said to myself, as soon as this storm just lightens up a little bit, I only needed 1 more fish to get my limit. I said, I'm just going to catch my limit and call it a day and place where I place. So the storm let up a little bit. I went out on the water and I caught 1 more fish and I got off the water. And I tried to dry off with the extra, I don't know, hour and a half, maybe 2 hours that I had left before going into check-in. That was a tough day. It was just miserable, cold. I remember standing there at check-in, and keep in mind it's been a couple hours since I got off the water, and I'm still shivering. I'm still trying to get warm. I just didn't feel it that day. So I had a tournament the following week, and I knew the weather wasn't going to be quite as bad, but I knew it would be raining. So I decided to up my lunch game, so to speak, because I knew there'd be a moment where I'd be cold, I'd be wet, and I'd be uncomfortable. So instead of having that wrap in that bottle of water, I had water, obviously, but I decided to bring something a little more substantial, a little more filling, and I grabbed one of these guys. It's a food jar. They're pretty neat. If you store liquid, you have a little cup here, and you've got a little fold-out spoon for your food, and then inside holds roughly 2 cups worth of food. So I had filled this up with some hot food. I believe I did a chili mac in here, and because it's insulated, it stayed nice and warm. And I gotta tell you, I was fishing and I got wet and it got a little chilly. Not as bad, but come lunchtime I took a minute and I had this, and I didn't have to go to shore for it. I sat there on my kayak and I ate it. And I think I also brought, I don't know whether it was Gatorade or Powerade, but that and this made me feel so much better. I mean, you're out there, it's cold, you're wet, and you have this bowl of warm food, instantly starting to warm up your insides. You know, it's a little heartier. You're not crowded in a restroom trying to eat a cold sandwich. When I was done with lunch, I was reinvigorated. I was re-energized. You know, I just had motivation to go out there and do my best, and I did. I fished till the very last second, and I upgraded as many fish as I could. And from that moment on, in all my outdoor activity, I decided, you know what, I need to consider eating better and giving myself the fuel I need to do the things that I'm doing. You know, these expenditures cost calories, and if you're not putting in the calories, you're drawing from your body and you're just making yourself weaker. So I just thought I'd talk to you guys about some food options when you're outdoors. Some of these are kayak friendly, you know, on the water. Some of these you can incorporate to just, like I said, taking a hike in the woods, going camping, doing all kinds of things outdoors, you know, when you're away from food and away from a source to get food. So the very first thing is the easiest thing to grab is Clif Bar. These aren't exactly delicious. These aren't exactly appetizing to look at, but they work. So you'll get some calories, you'll get some carbs, you'll get some energy needed to go out there and do what you love. You can make yourself a PB&J. This one happens to be an Uncrustable. Easy to grab and go, but you can just make yourself one and put it in a Ziploc bag. They make these things right here. This is similar to that wrap I referenced to, but in this case it's like an adult Lunchable. You have crackers, you have salami, and you have cheese. Moving on to satisfying and warmer foods depending on the conditions. Right now it's pretty warm here in Michigan. I wouldn't exactly take out hot food, but you never know. So you have this food jar like I explained. You can put anything in here: spaghetti, soup, coffee. I had chili mac in here. A nice stew would be good. A rice dish. This works out really well. But I'll also use it just to carry hot water. And that way, if I have hot water on me, I can do a thing like a cup of noodles. I mean, I can pre-make this at home and just put it in the food jar, but you know, as these noodles sit in that liquid, it's just going to absorb that liquid. The noodles are going to get overcooked, and it'll be fine, I'm sure. But if you want this to taste like it's supposed to, you can make it out in the field. Just add your hot water from here, follow the instructions on the packet, and you get a nice satisfying meal out of that. There's also things like camping food. So this is a Mountain House Mexican style rice and chicken meal. And again, this is something where you would bring hot water with you. You add the hot water to the bag, zip it up, and it cooks over 8 to 9 minutes. This is fairly inexpensive too. I think this was like $7. But also keep in mind, there's 3 servings in this bag. So if you're very hungry, then by all means have at it. But maybe you're out with a buddy or something. You guys can make up lunch together. This is a really cool option. You guys, I'm sure, have heard of oatmeals by now. All the outdoor people have been pushing this. Their marketing campaign's pretty good. But I do actually like this a lot because it reminds me of like an MRE. It's ready to go. So with this, you don't need to bring the hot water. You don't need this food jar. You don't need an insulated container to keep your water warm. All you need is water. Because the contents in here, you'll have this bag here. The food inside comes prepackaged in a bag, and then you have a heating element inside. You put the water in this bag with the heating element. The water activates the heating element, so it starts to get hot and steamy in here. So then you put the pouch of food in there, and it's kind of like boiling the bag. I don't know if you remember that. You millennials definitely won't remember that. But when I was a kid and microwaves weren't as common, we had boil on the bag food. So you'd go into the freezer and there'd be, you know, turkey and gravy or chicken a la king or something along those lines. And you would literally just boil a pot of water, drop the bag in, and wait a couple minutes and it cooked. Kind of the same thing here. So, but what I love about this is inside you get your meal, you get a spoon already, and you're able to cook this with any type of liquid. You know, even if you forgot to bring water and you had a Gatorade, pour it in here. Any liquid works. Your meal gets cooked up, and these are pretty good from what I understand. You know, if you guys want, I can do some of these, some taste tests on these on camera for you guys, just to give you an idea of how they taste. But from what I understand, they're really good. Chicken Creole with brown rice, so you're even on the healthier side. So this is really cool and very convenient, and again, inexpensive. I think this was like $7. It's cheaper than a value meal at McDonald's nowadays, that's for sure. But this got me thinking, because they use the MRE technology, and because it's so close to being an MRE, why not try out MREs? This here is a Korean MRE. I was able to get this on Amazon. They have some different types of MREs. So this is like this is very similar to ramen noodles, but it's rice, and you've got veggies in here, and this one happens to be like a spicy beef Korean fried rice, I guess, at the end of the day, and it's really good. And with this one, I like this one because the water doesn't need to be hot. If you add hot water, I believe your wait is like less than 10 minutes for this to cook, rehydrate, and ready to go. But you can add cold water to this. So if you don't feel like bringing a food jar or an insulated container for water, and you just have a bottle of water, you can use that. It just takes a little bit longer. It takes about 30 minutes to cook one of these. And they're really good. It's pretty tasty. We have good old US MREs, and this incorporates the same technology that I talked about with the O-meals, and it gives you a little bit more. So this is a single meal, so and this is actual US MREs, guys. This is what our soldiers are eating. You can see the seal right there. This one here happens to be Asian style beef strips with vegetables. And then in here you'll also get like mixes for isotonic drinks, desserts, sides, coffee mixes, protein shake mixes sometimes, instant coffee. You get everything you need for an actual meal. So that's really cool. Something like this is a little more intensive. I mean, I'm sure you can take it out on a kayak and manage, but for like a day hike, this is ideal. If you just want to spend some time in the outdoors, you need a lunch, this is perfect to grab. I will be doing some taste tests of the MREs on the channel. I just think they're really cool and interesting, and gives us a little insight of, you know, our troops, our military. Very cool. So that's a US MRE. Some of these MREs are 24-hour MREs, so there's 3 meals in a container. So going camping, that's ideal, having all your meals just ready for you. Also keep in mind that the activities that you're doing outdoors quantify what you're eating. Okay, so like these are regular meals, you know the calorie counts on all these, and you know the amount of work you're going to be doing or the amount of energy you're going to be expending. These guys, because they're intended for the military doing strenuous work, are high calorie meals. There's lots of calories in here, which usually equates to a lot of fat and a lot of sugar. So just keep that in mind when you're tackling these. These MREs are pretty cool as they're shelf stable forever. Giving your body the proper fuel it needs will make your time outdoors a lot more enjoyable, and some of this food actually is really enjoyable. So give it a shot next time you're out. Make sure you're taking some food and some water, and treat yourself a little bit better, and then your body will treat you a little bit better. That is what I've learned this year, and I thought I would just share that with you guys. I hope you dug this video. Hope you got something out of it. If you did, make sure to like it, Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Make sure to hit that little bell notification so you know when a new video goes live. Food equals fuel. I'm Bill. This is Catch 22. I'll catch you outside.